Hi guys, today I wanted to show you the art I have in my garden. And it can be just about anything. I have repurposed a lot of items to become garden art. Now this was a piece that I think was intended for indoor use, and I just spray shellacked it, so hopefully it'll be waterproof. I'm hoping I didn't make a mistake by using an oil base. In case I want to paint it down the road. But for now, I really liked the green, and it has some gold on it. And this was just from a local thrift shop, and it was $3. It's a huge arrow. Isn't that pretty, guys? It blends in a little bit with the fence, which is one of the reasons I'm thinking maybe I want to paint it. But I really did like it between these two lilacs. And it's very easy just to pop a nail in and hang something up. You can make garden art out of anything. And I think this was an indoor home decor item. Try not to get too close. We have birds nesting in the box behind it. I don't know if there's eggs or little babies, but let me give you a little bit of a closer look at this wonderful piece. This is made out of recycled, repurposed items. It's an old golf club. My sister got this for us. It's just basically a golf club made into a stake, and the feathers on the bird are just made out of very long nails, and the eyes are washers and metal rings. And look how cute that is. I stuck it into this bush so that it looked like a big ostrich or something. Thought that was really cute. But my sister gave that to us a few years ago as a gift, and my husband is a golfer, so it was really appropriate for our garden. I don't even remember where I got this adorable little snail that's coming through the garden. It's all rusted out and just a little metal piece, and it's actually a votive. There's a little trap door on the back. You could put a candle or a battery operated light in there, but isn't that cute, guys? It's just slithering through this garden here towards my hydrangea. I'm sure I got that somewhere like Home Goods. I hope you can see in the shadiness of this red bud, but I have 3 orbs that I have purchased, probably at TJ Maxx or Home Goods. Again, I've had these for a few years, so I kind of forget the source, but one of those discount home stores, and I put them all together. I got these two darker ones at the same time. They have stars and moon cutouts on them. And the other one was purchased at a different time, but I think they work really well together. And they added a bit of color and brightness to a little shady area. And that's one thing I love about garden art, is that you can really brighten up a little shady corner. Let's come a little closer here on my triangle garden. I just have an iron piece that has rusted in a very pleasing way. And again, I think I got this at a thrift shop just for a few dollars, but I've had this one for many, many years. Had it in different places in the garden, but I really like it here, just on the side of the deck. Isn't that pretty, guys? As you can see, I have some traditional pieces and some whimsical pieces. I actually forgot to show you this wonderful piece. This looks exactly like a dog I used to have, a little Bichon Frise. Her name was Zip. And many years ago, when I still had her, the family got me this as a gift. I think it's wonderful. She has these, she's a wind chime. She's got these kind of spiraled eyes. Look how cute she is. So precious. And my favorite part on her is the tangled up wire that makes the poofs on her head, and you have to see the tail as well. Look at that. I think that's just the cutest little hanging art piece, and I just sort of rediscovered her. She was up in my polytunnel, and I gave her a nice spray, a matte spray of white freshened her up and brought her out here to my deck garden. And she loved this backyard, so she is a very special piece. Some of my metal pieces I just spray paint every few years to keep them fresh and cover up any rust, protect them from totally eroding away. Isn't she adorable, guys? You have to look at her from every angle. I just put this on my deck because I'm not sure where I should put it yet, but it's just a little ceramic sun in a cobalt blue glaze. And I have so much blue around the garden, I couldn't resist. I just thought that was a pretty piece. So right now it's on my deck. And the thing about garden art is I'm constantly rearranging it and reimagining it. But I think that's a really fun piece. Just a small little ceramic. I like these little glass watering orbs. You just put water in them, or you can just use them as decoration, as I do in most cases, and just put them in. They kind of have a spiky bottom. Let me show you what it looks like. But you can find these in a lot of places. It looks like that, and you just pop it into a garden bed or a pot, but they're hand-blown glass, so they're all unique and beautiful. And they're really easy to find. I find a lot of mine in thrift shops, and you can also find them in garden shops, or even like Home Goods or TJ Maxx. I have a few over on the other side of the topiary garden too. I just added these in. They were somewhere else where I wasn't appreciating them, but look at all the different blown glass. Isn't that pretty, guys? It's just beautiful, and they catch the light. And of course, many of them have blue in it, which is one of my favorite colors overall, and in the garden. One of my favorite pieces of garden art is always bowling balls. Wherever I am, if I'm at a secondhand shop or a thrift store or charity shop, I always look for bowling balls. They're never more than about $8. Sometimes they're even $5 or less, but they make wonderful little orbs around the garden. And I just put them on big coffee cans. I open up both ends of the coffee can, and they rust out and sort of disappear underneath, and they just look so beautiful. They're pops of different kinds of colors in the garden. Bowling balls are, I think, great works of art. And then if we zoom in over here, I've had this heart hanging up for a while near my pollinator houses, and I decided to spray it blue. I thought that would be a really good pop of color over there. And I like the piece so much better. That's just a baking pan. Again, I found that at a thrift shop. I seem to find a lot of my garden art at thrift shops, and a little coat of paint really makes things shine. Here's a little piece in a planter with a little bunny resting in the shade, but I really like this piece because it almost looks like raindrops. So I just put it on a shepherd's hook and put it over the plants, and I think it looks like the plants are getting a little rain shower. Here's a little turtle couple on a date, and they are under a birdhouse gourd, and I think there's babies in there, and I'm getting scolded. So we won't spend too much time over here. Sometimes I feel like a visitor in the garden. These were just from Home Goods. Here's another bowling ball peeking out from all the greenery. I think it looks really pretty next to that fern. But this is back here in front of the shed in my Zen garden. That one doesn't even have colors, it just has an iridescence. But I think that looks so pretty. Of course, anything with movement in the garden is always nice to have. We have a couple of wind spinners that we've purchased over the years. This one comes from Rehoboth Beach when we took a vacation there. Just picked this up at a little garden center. And it also serves as kind of a weather station. We can always see when the wind is kicking up. But that one is beautiful. I think it's very mesmerizing. And And here are more examples of my bowling balls around the garden. All different beautiful colors throughout my rustic garden bed. And by the way, you can combine things. This base here was at Home Depot at the end of the season. It didn't have a top, and they were selling them for $5. And this amulary statue was at a thrift shop, so I just popped that on top so you can combine your garden art to achieve some custom looks. There goes another little bunny. That one is a little more shy. She lives in this garden. And here's my other blue bowling ball. The first one I showed you, I put a little spray paint on it because it was an ugly kind of faded red. But the rest of the bowling balls are just the natural color that they came as. And then back up here, I just have a wall hanging that I think was meant for the indoors. And I put it out here and it's looking fantastic behind a grouping of tomatoes. Isn't that pretty, guys? Here's a little closer look of this piece. It's covered with flowers and butterflies. It's got a copper look to it with an iridescence, and I just love how that looks on that fence. It certainly does wonders to brighten up a faded fence. This is a great new piece. I found this at a thrift shop, and it is just repurposed bits of metal chain. Somebody else spray painted it all gold, and I've just hung it from a shepherd's hook in this pot here amongst all my geraniums and my sedum, and I love how that looked. I think that was just a decor item for indoors, just meant to sit on a shelf or a mantle, but that's another example of probably an indoor decoration. And there's a spider that's created a little home. I think I've upset the spider, but it's using it as one side, one anchor point of its web. But isn't that pretty, guys? You can always repurpose decor items outside as long as you waterproof them. So I'm assuming this metal paint is waterproof. If not, I can always spray paint it in the future, but I was really thrilled to find this. It's kind of a modern touch. I have some mushrooms over here underneath my fig tree in a very shady spot, kind of appropriate for mushrooms. And this is a glass one I made a couple of years ago. And I've toyed with the idea of painting it, but I kind of like the see-through quality. And that's just a bowl and a vase glued together with, I think I used E6000. So I have that up on a stump. And this little mushroom with the mosaic tiles was just from, I think this was from TJ Maxx. And then over here, this was one that I just put together. I didn't even glue it. Let me show you what this one is. It's also a bowl, but I had a bird bath, and it could use the little wash here, but it's just a bird bath base. And the top part had broken, but it was so pretty. I have to come in here and get it cleaned up, but it was so pretty I didn't throw it away. And I ended up repurposing it just by putting on this old pewter bowl. And I think this is a good bowl, but it's a lot of the nickel plating has come off. So I thought, well, a good use for it would be to create some garden art. So I created another little mushroom here. So this is my mushroom garden over here with my 3 various mushrooms. And it's just kind of fun to create your own art when you can and mix it with some ready-made art. And garden art doesn't have to be expensive. This little wind spinner was just from the Dollar Tree. Isn't it wonderful? Creates a lot of whimsy back here. I've had this in the garden for a couple of years. And it's the perfect blue for my color scape. And I don't discriminate on size, guys. I can have tiny little garden art about the garden as well. Here's a little wrought iron snail just tucked into a container here. Just a little surprise once you get close to it, and that's just a little arborvitae cutting. That's next to my spinning daisy. But you can have little garden art surprises in your pots, and it just makes walking around the garden more delightful. And lastly, we'll finish with the pink garden. This is just some chairs spray painted pink, and again another pillar that was on sale same time as the other one I bought for $5, and I spray painted another amulary statue pink, and I combine those. And then you can find wreaths all the time, anywhere, that you can source those all over the place. Spray it any color you want if it's not to your liking, and you have a piece of wonderful garden art. So guys, thanks for tuning in and taking a walk around the garden. I love to always be in search of garden art. I never go looking for anything in particular, just go out and see what I can find. So I hope you have some luck finding beautiful garden art for your garden, and I'll see you next time.